What Does This Button Do show. This is episode number 92, and today is August 28th, 2016. It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I think we're here. We are old dogs, and we're learning new tricks all the time. Pretty amazing. Well, I'm Jim, and here, together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
We are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So that's why we have this weekly show. We learn something new every week, and we try to turn around and teach something to you. All of our content is available on our website, geeksontour.com.
So, Chris, where are we now?
Same place we were last week.
Oh,
so
look
I
at
didn't
that
even
sunset. That's gorgeous.
And we see that every night. It is just beautiful.
Pretty cool. All right. So on today's show, we have a tip of the day. Chris is going to talk about factory reset. That's something that she just did recently,
right,
to breathe new life into your phone. Our app of the day, well, it's going to be a little bit different, but we have some stuff to tell you. Yeah, a treat.
Of the day.
A treat of the day. Our beginner's lesson will be using Google Calendar. And if you have questions, please ask them there in the comments or in the chat, and we'll see if we can get to them on the show. And every show is recorded on YouTube on our Geeks on Tour channel. You can find the links at geeksontour.com/weekly show. We do invite you to become a member. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on Join Now.
And you may have noticed that we have a new place for you to watch the show. It's actually a blogger blog. If you're familiar with blogger blogs, you may recognize it. But we've come up with a special address, thebuttonshow.com. And we've been experimenting with this, but with the Google Plus part of this whole thing going away, we've been experimenting and decided that Blogger works as good as anything, and it means there's one site for the whole show. Now, the show notes are still going to be on the membership website, geeksontour.com. But anytime you want to review a past show, you can just go to thebuttonshow.com.
And you can get that from our main page.
And it's pretty easy to post comments there. And we do get a notification of the comments on one of our devices in front of us here. So that we're hoping that this is going to work. Good.
Well, we'll see. And
right.
The reason we're doing part of this is because Google Hangouts on Air is being separated from Google Plus, and that's just a technical thing that we have to deal with. But hey, it seems to be working. All right.
Yeah, you can still watch on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And there is a little chat window there, but I think that the comments on the blogger blog they'll be permanent. The chat window goes away.
That's right. Okay. Show notes.
Okay,
ready?
Show notes. So last week we did Facebook tips, and I just want to remind you all that we do show notes. And so if you go to our website, click on Weekly Show, and scroll down, you will see number 91, Facebook tips. And if you click on there and you're a member, you might even find this little save a Facebook item for later. Now, Tom asked, how do I print these out? And I think that's a great question. We do turn them into PDFs. Every weekly show that we have show notes, we turn them onto PDFs. If you are one of the members that bought our package at a rally, you got a thumb drive, and all of the PDFs are on that thumb drive. They also should be linked at the top of every show notes on the website. But that's not, we're working on that.
We're always working
if you want the printed show notes and it's not linked there, send me a message and I will just email you the one, or I'll make sure that the link gets there.
But you need to be a member.
Yeah, that is a membership benefit.
All right.
So, quick tip, factory reset. We did this as a show. Number 61 was about factory reset, and all the details on how to do it is there. I just want to mention it because a couple weeks ago, we did a show on when is it time to get a new phone. And I said it was time for me to get a new phone.
Yeah.
Things just were sluggish. It would crash. It would automatically, spontaneously reboot.
Can't have that.
And the battery would only last a few hours. And I was just ready to get a new phone. But the new phone I want, of course, is the most expensive one. And I'm hoping I can put it off for a little bit longer. So I went ahead and did a factory reset. And it's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
In my particular situation, anyway, it is a brand new phone. The battery lasted all day, all night, and half of the next day before I had to plug it in. It has not spontaneously rebooted. Now, understandably, I did not reinstall all the apps. You know, it said you have 90 some odd apps. And when it said, which ones do you want to reinstall after the reset, I just selected 45 of them, I think. So the phone is a lot leaner.
Yeah.
But if you're wondering how
More
factory reset,
too, though.
Oh yeah, it just works. It works. I really don't need a new phone for a while now.
Excellent.
All right. So just a comment on, if you do a reset, it wipes out your phone. So make sure that you have everything backed up or synced. I mean, I use all Google products, and that means all of my data is in the cloud and it's synced. As soon as I wipe out the phone and reset it up with my Google account, everything is back. It was very easy. I don't hesitate to do a reset on my phone.
Excellent. All right. We do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's where everything's going these days, all the video anyway. And you can find that at youtube.com/2geeksontour. Any questions yet? Let's see.
I didn't see any notifications.
Well, somebody says their calendar doesn't sync on the phone. Calendar on the phone does not sync to my phone. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll see if we can figure that out. Probably to your computer.
Oh, I do see Gary Sandberg says, glad to be with you today. Hello, Gary. Lee Collins says, can only see class notes from last week. Yeah, the class notes, I do watch the show and write the notes from the show. They're not pre-created. They are notes of what we actually did with timeline links. So they only appear, you know, after 2 or 3 days when I get around to it.
When she gets around to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does the reset routine apply to Apple too? Yes, absolutely. And we do cover how to do that in the in that episode 61.
Okay. Excellent. I'm looking over here, but
okay,
it's not working for me. I'm just going to have to refresh, I guess, over here. And hope for the best. There we go. All right?
Yep.
Cool. Beginner's lesson. The beginner's lesson this week is on Google Calendar, and let's get to it.
So, Google Calendar. We've been using Google Calendar since long before phones, I mean, smartphones. So we take it for granted. But so when we talk to somebody who says, how do I put appointments into my phone and get reminded about it, we thought, oh, people need to know about Google Calendar. We did do this once before, episode 10. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it's time to do it again.
And things have changed. For example, there was no Google Calendar app on the iPhone when we did that show, and there is now. And the app on the Android is much improved. So that's what we're going to show you today. Just the basics, because there's a ton of stuff.
All right.
So first, calendar app versus browser. On a computer, you can get to your Google Calendar just by opening a browser and going to calendar.google.com. So you just type that right into the address, make sure you are logged in, and all of your appointments show up on your calendar. Now, on the phone or tablet, you want to use the app. I mean, you used to have to go to the browser on the iPhone or iPad, but now there is an app. And make sure you recognize this app, because it often does not say Google Calendar. It just shows you the icon. So it's blue and it has the number 31 on it.
And that even works in February.
Right. Now, calendar app versus calendar data. You can use other apps. I mean, maybe you decide that you don't like the Google Calendar app. You are much more comfortable with the Apple Calendar app. That's fine, as long as you tell the Apple Calendar app to use your Google Calendar data. So Google stores all of your data online in the cloud, and it can be seen in a variety of different ways. Now, the way on this slide, I said, think of the app like a frame, like a picture frame. But the picture frame, different picture frames can be used for the same picture. So that's what you have your Google account calendar data, like Monday dentist, Tuesday lunch, Wednesday flight to Houston. That's the data. It can then appear in whatever app you choose. But there are other reasons. I think the Google Calendar app is the one to choose. On a phone, use the app. And they are new. They're really cool. And that's what I'm going to be showing you. Now, synchronizing. What does that mean? I want to be able to enter an appointment on the computer and have it show up on the phone, and vice versa. It's automatic. I mean, it's so, if it doesn't work for you, something is wrong somewhere, because it's all about your Google account. If you're using the same Google account and calendar on your computer as you are on your phone, you enter on one, it shows up on the other. That's all there is to it. Now, one thing I have discovered is that there's only 1 year's worth that gets synced to your phone. We've been using Google Calendar for 10 years. And on the computer, I can search and find a dentist appointment from 2006.
That comes in handy.
Yeah, right. But on the phone, I can only go back a year. That's
not a big deal.
No, not a big deal at all.
Okay.
Now, if something isn't showing up, I say try refresh. On the Android, there is a refresh item on the 3-dot menu. On the iPhone, the only way I could figure out how to do it is to kill the app and reopen it. All right, so I'm going to demo. I have several demos here, but to start with, I want for you to be looking at my calendar on the computer as I add appointments on the phone or the tablet. So let's take a look at my calendar online. And I just go to a browser and I type calendar. And notice my little face in the upper right-hand corner.
Very important.
So that means I am logged in with my, and where are we today? Today is Sunday the 28th, 2 p.m. What does this button do? All right.
Pretty much every week.
Now, I'd already been testing this. So, well, that's, yeah. I am going to first use the iPad and use Siri. So how do you get Siri? You hold down on the button and add test event using Siri to my calendar tomorrow at 11 a.m.
One moment, please.
1 moment, please. I think you need
Okay,
an...
I set up your appointment
There we
for
go.
tomorrow. Shall
Cool.
I schedule it?
Yes.
I scheduled your event for 11 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay. But she didn't say everything. So I'm going to go into the calendar on the iPad. And I wanted it to say test from Apple so that when we see it on the calendar, it'll be obvious. So test event, and I'm going to edit it on here. Test event Apple. That's all I just wanted it to say. And save. All right. Now it takes a minute for these things to show up. So now I'm going to go to the Android. And I will be showing you the phones in a minute, but right now I just want you to be looking at the computer. And we're looking at Monday. Tomorrow is Monday. So when I say, okay, Google, add test event using Android to my calendar tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, and it did it. Now, how long is it going to take before it shows up? Calendar, and they will show up here. This was an old one. So how about if I just do a refresh? Up in the upper left-hand corner on a browser, the circular arrow is refresh. There we go. The test Apple has now come through. Okay, well, I think, Richard, you should be seeing the screen now. And now the test event using Android has come through. So without doing anything other than refresh, and if we had been willing to wait for another minute, it would have just appeared. I added an appointment on using the iPad. It shows up on my computer. I added an appointment using the Android. It shows up on my computer. All right. Now I want to go back to the slideshow. Oh, and I need to add an event on the computer then too. All right, so on the computer, I click on create and I say test event by the computer. And we'll make that at 3 o'clock on tomorrow, Monday. And save. Now that one you will be able to see on both the Apple and the Android when we switch over.
If all goes well.
If all goes well, right. So what we just did, we added an event using an Apple, it showed up on the computer. We added an event using Android, it showed up on the computer. We added an event using the computer, and in a minute, you'll see those on the mobile devices. So now I'm going to go to the iPad, and I'm going to just show you the basics. How to get the app, how to add an event, how to edit an event, delete an event, and search for events.
Right.
So here we are on the iPad. And I think that looks pretty good. Now, I already have the app, but I just want to show you how to get it because there's a little trick. If you go to the App Store on an iPad and search for Google Calendar, so I tap up in the search field and type Google Calendar. It's not going to find it. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it finds all sorts of calendars, and you could use these if you want to. Want the Google Calendar. They do not make an iPad specific Google Calendar. So I have to tap up here where it says iPad only and choose iPhone only. Just because it was made for the iPhone doesn't mean you can't install it on an iPad. So there it is. And as I say, I already have it, so I can just open it. The difference, though, is it looks like it's just magnified. You know, this is the iPhone calendar on an iPad screen. So it's a little bit bigger. And let's see, there's two tests. There is the test event by computer.
I love it when a plane comes
Yeah,
together.
when it works, yeah. Okay. Then there are different views. So this is looks like a week view. If you tap on the 3-line menu, I can see a 3-day view, 3-line menu, 1-day view. So this is just 1 day. Or the kind of default is this one called schedule, which means show me all of my appointments. I don't care for it to be laid out like a day or a week. I just want to see all of the appointments. And this is their prettiest view. It gives you colors. If you have a place in your appointment, it shows you a picture about that place. Notice a dentist has a toothbrush in it. Or if there is an address, it shows a map. So that's called the schedule view, or also sometimes known as the agenda view. Now, notice I am looking at my account and all of my linked calendars. You can have multiple calendars. And just for purpose of scheduling here, I want to clean it up. I don't want to be seeing all of my real calendar appointments. So I'm going to go in here and uncheck. If I uncheck events, all of my calendar items go away. Reminders, GOT means Geeks on Tour. I mean, I have a calendar, Jim has a calendar, we have a business calendar, and we share them all, but I don't want them to be seen right now. I just want to use this one called Maryland because there's not much there. It's nice and clean, and it'll be obvious when we make an appointment, okay? So how do you add an appointment? Let's say that she has a haircut scheduled for this Thursday at 2 o'clock at a local salon called Belladonna, where I just got my haircut last week. So you tap the plus, and it's an event. Goals and reminders are cool, but we're just talking about events. And you just start typing it. So I'm haircut. And notice it's kind of prompting. And no, I don't want it tomorrow. It's Thursday. oops, haircut Thursday at 2 p.m.
So you don't have to go to all the different pieces. You can just type the whole thing in. Haircut Thursday at 2 p.m. and
at Belladonna. And as soon as I start typing Bella, that shows up and I'm good.
And don't her fingernails look good today?
That was done at Belladonna. Okay, so that's done.
Now, you were saving that, or you were building that. Okay.
Yeah, just building that. And now if we go to, what, Thursday is the 1st? Let's look at schedule view. And no, it's the 28th. So there it is. 2 p.m., 3 to 4. Now, I don't know why it did that. It should have scheduled it from 2 to 3.
Because that might have something to do with where you...
I don't know, but
time zone?
But the next, I don't know. Time zones can be a real problem. But the next thing I want to show you is how to edit. So we'll do that. You open up the calendar item to be edited. You tap the little pencil. And instead of 3 o'clock, now this is kind of weird. The way I think it's weird, and the way the iPhone has you select things. So I get to 2 o'clock, okay, and then that changed. Now I also want a notification. I want to be reminded.
But you went back to today.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
Yes. Yeah, you do have to pay attention when you're doing this stuff. But actually, the next thing I want to do is set a notification. Oh, I already got the notification. And I want you to see the notification. So I have to change this to today. And what time is it now?
It is 2:28.
2:28. So if I make it for 2:35 or so, let's see. If I make it for 2:35, now it'll have to be 2:40. And then I want more options. It's going to automatically give me a notification at 1 hour before, but I want to change that to 10 minutes before so that you see the notification.
And you can have multiple notifications. So
yeah,
that's great for
so
me.
yeah, if it's a very important meeting that you want to do some preparation for the day before,
Or if it's a dentist appointment and you want to brush your teeth.
you can set one for a day before. These are all the different.
Or custom.
Yeah. So all sorts of notifications. Another thing, what if this was a monthly appointment? Right here where it says does not repeat, you can say every month. And when you save, that is now done for every month. This still ended up on my calendar. If I edit it and find where it has my calendar, well, you can tell that I don't actually do this too often. It got added to my account, and maybe that's an iPad thing that is more difficult to change calendars. How about search? I want to know the last time that I went to the dermatologist because I need to. There's our notification.
All right.
All right. So that's how it comes up, and it can make noise also, but this is the default way that it comes up. So I dismiss it. And yeah, on your phone, you would want it to ding at you. All right, I'm going to wait for the search on the Android. I'll do that on the Android. Just the last thing then, how do you delete an appointment? I tap on it, tap the three-dot menu, and delete. Now, do you want to delete or all monthly ones? I'm going to delete all of them. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the Android.
Okay.
And notice, notice that I have a notification about my event, my haircut appointment.
And that also just popped up on your computer screen.
Right, right. So that is synchronizing. You get it on all of your devices. Sometimes it can drive you nuts, actually. Okay. On the Android, there are a couple of unique things that I want to point out. The first is this widget. I love the widget. So right here on my home screen, I know what's on my calendar. And I know when I have to do something or whether I can relax. Now, how did I get that widget? I'm going to take it off so I can show you how I put it on. Long press and remove. See how that remove appears at the top? And when I hover over it, it's gone. How do I get it back? Long press on the main screen, and then I get widgets. Now, every Android, you know, if yours is not a Samsung, there might be a different way of doing this. So, but they all have widgets. Now, that is the calendar widget for the Samsung calendar app. Remember, that's why I said make sure to pay attention to the icon. The icon is just that blue 31. This is the one I want. Long press and drop it off on my home screen.
So like on my Nexus 6, I do not have the Samsung calendar. I only have the Google Calendar. And I like it that way.
Yeah, because it is a Google phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all you get. Of course, you could download others.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing, so I can just tap on this widget and get into the main calendar app as well. And I can view the day. I can view a 3-day. I think I tapped week there. Yeah, a 3-day, a week. But here's my favorite view. Since, you know, retired people, well, we're not retired, but we're not in business with scheduling meetings all the time. I like to see a whole month at a glance to see what's going on. And that's not in the Apple app yet. Another thing that is great about using all Google devices, first I'm going to do a search. So I'm going to search for Belladonna because, yes, that is where I got a haircut the other day, so I can find that appointment. Or here's the one coming up. And notice that it has an address. It has a location. So if I'm ready to go there now, I can jump in the car, I can open up my calendar, tap on where I need to go, and I'm off. So navigation, now that is because of Google. It's Google Maps, it's Google Calendar. And one other item like that is, now how do I get back to my calendar? I'm on a map now. I just tap the multitasking button, the recent apps button, and I can go back to calendar. It's like I have it. And If you also use Gmail, the Google email, then it will automatically put appointments on your calendar based on emails if you check that option in the setting, and I think it is by default. So for example, next month we are flying to San Francisco, and because I got an email confirmation on our flight, it gets put into my calendar automatically. I mean, I did not type all this in, JetBlue, flight B6577, etc. And it says view source email. So because I'm using Google Calendar and I'm using Google Mail, my calendar is automatically populated with events that come to my mail. I can view the source mail. That is handy. That is really handy. And there's a way to get to my e-ticket. And the last thing I want to show you is how to get help, because there's so much to be done with this app. If you tap on the 3-line menu, go all the way down to the bottom, help and feedback. Then you can search, or you can just read the different articles. You can browse all articles and learn how to use Google Maps.
Maps? Calendar.
Oh. Oh.
What are we teaching this week?
So one thing people often ask us, because we use multiple calendars, I can see Jim's calendar and my calendar all on the same screen. So how do we do that? Well, let's look at help. Share your calendar with someone. How sharing works. They can see your schedule. Share your calendar. Share an existing calendar. Now, I believe that this is something, on a computer. This needs to be set up on a computer. But once it's set up, you see it on your phone. All right, how we doing? Any questions?
Let's see. Richard asked, I just found Google Calendar on my iPad and loaded it. It says Tiny Calendar, but it has the 31 icon on it. Is it the right one?
Good question.
Yeah, I responded and I asked if there might be another choice in there, so I'm not sure.
Well, let's look. I kind of doubt it. Tiny Calendar sounds like something else, and it is amazing how many app developers try to look like something else. And so where I would look is if it says by Google. I mean, every Tiny Calendar. Let's see what we get. Yeah, it has blue and 31, but that's not the same thing. And notice it says APPXY in there. So that is not by Google. It might be fine, but that's not the app that I'm talking about.
So it would just be Google Calendar.
Right. And it's for iPhone only. So
it still works on the iPad. It just, they don't have a special app for the iPad.
Yeah. So it will say by Google. And I tried to do a shortcut by not typing in Google. Anyway, we did show that before. It is by Google. Anything else?
Let's see. Fred wants to know, is it possible to look at a month at a time in landscape mode on the iPad using Google Calendar?
No. first of all, there is no month at a time on the iOS app.
Okay.
And second of all, on the iPad, you're using the iPhone app, and yeah, it only does vertical.
All right. I think that's a couple of people have some issues with our bandwidth or their bandwidth, that when I change to the computer, it only has your avatar. So we'll have to, yeah, it's a bandwidth issue.
Our bandwidth isn't that great here.
I wish it were better.
I'm on my phone. I'm on my Fox-Fi.
Okay.
So
that's okay.
All right. That is it for the beginner's lesson.
All right. So back to the slideshow then.
Yeah, let's see. We covered everything on the iPhone, iPad, how to get the app, add an event, edit an event, change notifications, set to repeat, delete an event, and searching. We did all that. And on the Android, the adding, editing, and deleting and searching works exactly the same. So I just showed the different things, which is events automatically added from email and showing navigation. And the widget. I like the widget.
You don't get widgets, apples.
Well, you do, but they're kind of hidden. They're not the same.
Let's see if there's anything else in there. More questions. And nope. Next. Ding. Old Dogs Learning New Tricks, geeksontour.com. Like us on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/geeksontour. Our treat of the week. Are you about ready?
I think so.
You're getting there. All right. I need to be ready.
Well, it was all queued up and now it's not there. What else is new? You can tell them what they're going to see.
Yeah. I did a little, and that's not it. There it is. I flew the drone the other day here where we're staying in Fort Lauderdale, in New Jersey. And there it goes. This is my friend Tom Purnell playing the guitar. I just was looking for some music that was about the same length as the video. And that's Chris out there paddling the kayak. Beautiful sunsets here. Flying over the water is a little bit scary, I want to tell you right now. And that's our friend Jimmy. Dive buddies.
This is his home.
And when you get some altitude, you can see from the bay all the way to the ocean. You can see our rig there in the driveway. I'll tell you, the water's a lot colder up here than it is down in Fort Lauderdale. But we don't have that view.
Yeah, it's unusual to get sunsets on the East Coast. But because of the bay, we get great sunsets here.
Okay, well, did you learn something?
All right, we thought you might enjoy that little treat there.
I know I did. Okay, Chris, back to the questions. So what is it that makes the synchronizing work? the same appointment showing up on the computer as the Android, as the Apple, or mobile devices.
Sorry. What is it that makes synchronizing work? It's just the Google account. If you're using the same Google account on all the devices, then they are getting the same data from the cloud.
Okay. Now, if you have a standing appointment on the 15th of every month, you can put that on your calendar with what setting?
Repeat. It's in the time. So in the time you tap more options, it'll say don't repeat. When you tap there, then you can make it repeat.
All right. True or false, you can add an appointment to your calendar by voice using OK Google or Siri.
Absolutely true. That's one of the best ways.
Yeah. And voice recognition is really working better than it used to. So give it a try. And to search for all dentist appointments, what do you click?
Well, you need to find search, and it's in a bit of a different place, which
Yeah.
is why I showed. It's on the menu, 3-line menu, and down below the different views.
Yeah, it took me a while to find that.
But it's on both Android and Apple in the same place on the menu.
So what are the two things available for Google Calendar on Android that aren't on iOS?
The month view and the home screen widget.
All right. Now, you can navigate to your appointment if the address is where?
In the location for the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Just tap on it. It'll go to Google Maps.
All right. Well, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
GeeksOnTour.com. And the menu item is Weekly Show.
And the webpage that lists all of our recent newsletters?
GeeksOnTour.com. The menu item is blogs, articles, newsletters is under there.
All right. And what benefits do you get by joining Geeks on Tour?
The complete learning library of all our prepared tutorial videos. And there is one on calendar, by the way. So
check it out.
And the members Q&A forum where you can ask us any questions.
And we promise to respond.
And the show notes for all of these shows. And there are some discounts.
Every now and again.
Every now and then we offer something with a discount to members.
So we do invite you to become a member. You do that at geeksontour.com and click on Join Now. Okay. Next time, we're going to have a topic just like we talked about today, how to dictate to your phone. Watch for the notification of our next show and let us know that you're watching. Leave some questions in the comments. We'll see if we can get to those as we do the show. And that's it for this week's What Does This Button Do? I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we're Geeks on Tour.
Keep pushing those buttons. Just ask, what does this button do? Go ahead and try it. That's how you find out.
I don't know.
You can always do a factory reset.
We'll see if that works. Bye-bye now.